Hello, Cricuters, and welcome to Cricketing with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and thank you so much for joining me today. In today's tutorial, we are using more of our infusible ink to put it on bookmarks. I am so excited about this because my book club is meeting this weekend, and I wanted to give them a little gift, and I thought about giving them a bookmark, a personalized bookmark, and I know that I have tons, and I do mean it, of infusible ink. So this is what they look like. This is what one of them looks like, and I love the way these turned out. I'm going to show you my full process. This is a quick and easy tutorial. This is definitely beginner friendly. So without further ado, let's look at the materials. After materials, we'll go over to Cricut Design Space and I'll show you how I use my heat press to get the infusible ink press on these aluminum bookmarks. The materials I'll use for this project include my Cricut Maker. However, you can use any Cricut cutting machine that you have. I'll use these aluminum blanks that I purchased from Amazon. They came in a package of 30 and they came along with the tassels. So in my opinion, it's a good deal. They are one-sided blanks because you sublimate on one side and the other, you sublimate on one side and the other side of it is blank. I'm using Cricut Infusible Ink. This is the Patterns, Rainbows, and Triangles box. I'll use a green standard grip mat. I use my brayer to ensure the infusible ink was adhered to the mat. I'm using butcher paper that comes inside of the box of infusible ink. And I'm using my 15 by 15 Starcraft clamshell heat press. However, you can use any heat source that will heat up to at least 385 degrees. So you can do this with an easy press, you can do this with a smaller press, as long as it will get up to 385 degrees. I did use a ruler to measure these blanks, but I'll give you all of the sizing once we get to Cricut Design Space. This is how one of them turned out. I love the way these turned out. I'm very pleased with how they turned out. Without further ado, let's head on over to Cricut Design Space. I am in Cricut Design Space and I'm connected to my Cricut Maker. The first thing that I'll do is go over to the left panel and grab a shape. I'll grab a square and I'm going to resize it. I'll first unlock it because I'm going to change it to a rectangular shape. The width of the shape will be 6 inches wide and the height will be right at 1.5. After I do that, I'll change the shape from a basic cut to a pen so that once I start to type the names, I will be able to get it centered and aligned just right. Once the text box opens, I'm going to change from the default Cricut Sans text to one that is called Ardilla. The font that I'm using was downloaded from creativefabrica.com and it is linked below this video. I'll click on the font option at the top and search for that font, Ardilla. I'll click on it and it changes her name. I'm not going to make any additional changes to her name other than to resize it so that it fits nicely in that box. Because these bookmarks have a small hole at the top for the tassels to go through, I know the maximum width that I can resize her name to is 5.5. But before I resize the width, I will need to unlock the ratio box so that it doesn't impact the height. So the first thing that I'll do is make sure that I'm not in the way of that hole. I will click the unlock and then I will resize her name to a width of 5.5, no greater than 5.5. I'll also make sure that no parts of her name will overlap or extend beyond the space that is inside my template. So this looks like an adequate size and I'll use that. Remember, the maximum width is 5.5. Once I get hers just the way that I like it, I will move it over and I'll get started with the rest of the names. I'll speed this part up as I type the rest of the names and get them resized. Okay, so I don't need my template anymore, and I am ready to click Make It. Once I get to the prepare screen, I am going to move these names around on this mat and just reposition them so that they are in what I would consider to be a safe space for cutting. I'm making sure that none of the names are touching and that they are in a place that I can cut them away from the infusible ink sheet without any overlap or any risk of cutting into another name. So I'm just moving them around and getting them repositioned so that they can be cut. I'm going to click continue and choose infusible ink. I'm going to make sure to mirror my image because I'm using a heat source. I'm going to get my ink, my infusible ink loaded on my mat with the ink side up. I'm going to get it placed firmly on the mat. I used to think that I did not need a brayer, but now I realize I do. So I'm going to go over it with a brayer. If you don't have a brayer, just make sure your infusible ink is firmly on the mat. Make sure your hands are clean because this is ink. And the next thing that I'll do is get it loaded into my Cricut Maker. Remember, you can do this from any of the Cricut cutting machines. I'll click the flashing C and using my fine point blade. Remove the mat from the machine, and now I will start to get it weeded out. Remember, infusible ink is weeded with your hands, so I'm going to leave this on the mat for now, and I'm going to grab my knife, a True Control knife, and cut away the excess ink because I can use this for a future project. I'm going to cut a rectangle around each name and I will get them weeded out and I will speed this part up. It's important to note that all of these blanks, these aluminum blanks, are one-sided. So one side is just plain aluminum, one side looks more shiny and glittery. This side has a plastic cover on the front, and it's hard to see that, but it's important to remove the plastic cover before you start to, get the infusible ink pressed on the bookmarks. I'm going to remove the plastic cover. And because I'm using infusible ink and it already has a sticky backing, I'm just going to line it up the best I can and get it placed on the bookmark. So let me line it up and get it placed so that I'm not interfering with that, you know, the hole. And this is how hers looks. And I'm not going to just press one at a time. I can actually press more. If I were using my like a Cricut 9x9 or an easy press or a smaller press, I would definitely not suggest doing more than maybe 2 at a time or even 1 at a time. Okay, so there's Glenise, and I will speed this part up. I'll speed the rest of this up, remove the plastic, get the name placed down the way you want it on the blank, making sure to leave space for the hole at the top. That's where your tassel will go. All right, so I have 4 names that are ready. I have a sheet of parchment paper on my plate. I'm going to put the bookmarks down. I'm not using any tape. I'm not going to use any heat resistant tape, but I am going to put a piece of butcher paper on top, and I'm going to press these on 385 degrees for 50 seconds. I'm using the butcher paper that came with the box of infusible ink. All right, I will say it is important to have a pair of heat resistant gloves because these bookmarks will be super hot. So these gloves are linked below the video. Let's see. So the first one is Lanita, and look at that. Came out very nice. 50 seconds is perfect. 50 seconds is the perfect amount of time. All right, let's look at Veronique. Ooh, fancy. And these are going to look even nicer once I put the tassels on. Here's Glenise. Beautiful. This is Morgan. Okay, and my daughter is helping me with this, so I'm going to let her do the tassels while I start to get the other ones placed down. I'm going to use the same piece of parchment paper, and I'm actually going to use the same piece of butcher paper. I'm not going to change it out. All right, I'm going to place these next set down. Latanya, Freddie, Lindsay, Gwendolyn, and Melissa. And I can actually do 5 this time, hopefully, as long as my butcher paper is long enough. Definitely would not try doing this many with an easy press. 385 degrees, 50 seconds. Alrighty, beat. Let me get my gloves. Let me get my gloves. Get my gloves. And let's see. That's Melissa's. And it's gorgeous. Okay. This one is Gwendolyn. Let's see. Let's see what we did with Gwendolyn. Ooh, I love it. I love this. I love it. I love it. This one is Lindsay's. So nice. So very nice. This one is Freddie's. Cute. Cute. So hot. And last but certainly not least is Latanya's. Cute, cute, cute. Just followed the pattern of the infusible ink. So let me get these put together and share my final thoughts. Okay, so these are the finished products, and hopefully you love them as much as I do, because you know what I'm going to say. I love it. I love the way these turned out. I think this is quick and easy enough for beginners. If you found this tutorial helpful, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing to my channel, and turning on the bell for notifications, because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.